Hey guys, so what we're looking at now is a scenario in which the law of sines does not work. So remember, in order for the law of sines to work, I have to have two sides and an angle that's opposite one of the sides. And that's not always going to happen. Um, so if the measure of two sides and the included angle of the measures of all three sides are given, another formula must be used. And this is the law of cosine. So we're looking at the same picture we saw before. We have an angle and a side that are opposite each other. So A and A are opposite, B and B are opposite, um, angle C and side C are opposite each other. If you guys have a chance, please write these down for me. Okay, so we have these formulas here, and what we're going to do is try to apply these. Like if I'm looking for angle A or side A, I would be using this formula here. If I'm looking for angle B or side B, I would be using this one. If I'm looking for side C or angle C, this is the formula I would use. This only works when I have two sides and an included angle, which means like C and B, A is the included angle, so I'd use the law of cosines. Or if I'm given all three sides. Let's look at an example in which I have all three sides. Okay? So in this case, I have side A, side B, and side C. So what I'm going to do is draw a triangle, which is a really bad looking triangle, but it is a triangle nonetheless. So I got A, B, and C. This side is 43. This side is 90. And this side is 51. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find angle B because what I always want to try to do is I always want to find the largest angle first. And if you guys remember what we talked about is that sides and angles always tell me what's going on. So if side B is the largest side, that means that angle B has to be the largest side. So I'm going to be using B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine B. What I'm going to do is just plug in the information that I know. So I know B is 90, so I'm doing 90 squared equals A, which is 43 squared, plus C, which is 51 squared, minus 2 times 43 times 51 cosine B. And my goal is to get cosine B by itself. So what I'm going to do is figure out what this stuff is. I'm not going to be combining these two terms because they will not be like each other. So 90 squared is 8100. Okay? 43 squared is 1849. 51 squared is 2601 minus, if I multiply these three terms together, I get 4386 cosine B. I can combine those two terms, but I cannot combine these three terms because this one has a cosine B, these two do not. So I can combine those two, and when I do that, I get 4450 minus 4386 cosine B, and this will equal 8100. Okay? So I'm going to subtract 4450 from both sides. So when I do that, I get 3650 equals negative 4386 cosine B. I want to get cosine B by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4386. So I get cosine B to equal approximately negative 0.8322. Remember, in order to find a missing angle, we use the cosine inverse. So I'm going to do B equals the cosine negative 1 of negative 2. And when you guys do that, you get angle B to equal 146.3 degrees. So I know that this angle is 146.3 degrees. So now what I want to do is I want to find angle A or angle C. Okay? Now I don't have to worry about the law of cosines anymore because I have an angle and a side that are opposite each other. Remember, if I have an angle and a side that are opposite each other, I can use the law of sines. So I'm going to do sine of A over 43 equals the sine of 146.3 over 90. So what I end up getting is I get sine A equals 43 sine 146.3 over 90, which turns out to be the same thing as sine of A. All I did was just cross multiply and divide, okay? That decimal value will turn out to be 0.2651. I will do the sine inverse of both sides. And I get angle A to be 15.4 degrees. Okay? To find C, all I would have to do is take 180. So angle C would equal 180 minus 15.4 minus 146.3. And I get angle C to equal 18.3 degrees. So why don't we have you guys try number 13, and we will talk about that tomorrow.